I'm the anchor. Am I supposed to ask the questions here?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you want to just tell us who you are?
Yeah, my name's Keaton Walls.
Keaton Walls. Okay. What is your industry?
I'm in real estate development. I'm a real estate agent, and we're in general construction as well.
Okay, nice. And could you run us through your first development project? I guess we'll just get right into it there.
Getting right into it. Yeah, the first one was a mess, guys. I'm not gonna deny it. It was kind of a learning experience for my business partner and myself. We were really looking to transition from flipping homes. Like we started by, obviously I'm a real estate agent, but we started flipping homes when the market was a little bit better. Obviously we saw that transition where the market just started to tank. So we wanted to pivot, but we wanted to do something bigger. We wanted to go bigger, and we knew we wanted to own assets, right? For long-term growth, portfolio growth. And we found a loophole through Bill 23, which allows 3 units on any lot in Ontario. So having known that knowledge, we then went and looked for properties that met that criteria with the frontage, the depth, and knowing we can build 3 units on it without having to go through any zoning changes. So it really speeds up the red tape process of it. Anyway, long story short, we found a lot in Stratford, big enough to sever into 2 lots and do 2 semi-detached single families with 2 additional dwelling units for a total of 6 units. And CMHC would allow us to, they would look at it as a commercial building. So even legally, they were 2 separate lots, 3 units on each lot. We were able to apply for financing based off of it being a sixplex. So we kind of reaped the rewards of not having to go through rezoning to make it a legal sixplex, but then still reap the benefits of the preferred financing through CMHC standard or MLI select products, which we'll probably get into later if I had to guess.
Yeah, that's
right. Yeah, definitely. Is there a reason that you chose Stratford, or how'd you decide on the lot?
Yeah, great question. At the time, lots in Stratford were about $150,000 less than in Kitchener, but the rental rate was still the same because there's so little supply of new build rental units, purpose-built rental units in Stratford. And in Kitchener, there's a lot more supply. So we're just looking at demand versus supply. And Stratford's an area that is up and coming. It's a very wealthy city. And we just were like, well, okay, well, if our acquisition cost is less, but we can still get the same amount of rent, why wouldn't we jump into that? And then obviously just capital we needed. It's cheaper to buy a lot that's less money. So that's how we found Stratford. It's not like it was really on our radar. We were really looking anywhere within an hour of Kitchener. And the first lot we found that made sense was in Stratford.
So with that field, is that the big bonus with going with that side of developments is it's just a lot cheaper for the legal fees and getting the development actually set?
100%. Yeah. Like when you're looking at ADUs, additional dwelling units, versus, rezoning, it can save you 6 months to a year, depending on the size of the project. But getting into purpose-built rentals specifically, there's 100% tax exemption on special assessments, and any HST you spend on the hard costs building it are tax rebatable. So you spend it, but then depending on how you file your HST, you can rebate 100% of that money. So you kind of reap a few benefits that the government is currently offering.
And with that time shave, you can do more, so you can become more marginal just by doing more, not sitting around waiting on bigger projects.
100%. I mean, it was a learning experience, like I said earlier, with the red tape portion of it, because we didn't really know like what we had to do to get it building permit ready. So just through trial and error and learning the hard way versus with unfortunately losing a lot of money and interest just with time, but also making mistakes along the way, we kind of just learned the whole process throughout that, and really just made it work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, okay, you said it was a mess. So when you say it's a mess, was there a moment where you're you're knees deep in the mud and you're like, oh shit, this is real life?
I gotta show you a photo after of Dom with a water pump over his shoulders, pumping water out of a basement that we already poured, that was 2 feet into our basement and would nonstop flow. So our Christmas and New Year's were spent there pumping water every day until we could get our sump pumps in there to then take care of the job.
And you were just fucking pissing your pants.
What
do we do?
We're like, well, is the water ever going to end? And we found out that we had a well that was not on the well records that we found out just by digging. And we found out that the water table in the specific neighborhood we were in was 6 feet underground. And we I guess it was 7 feet because we put 9-foot basements in. So then we're like, okay, well, now we got to pivot, and how do we find a long-term solution? So we had to put 4 sump pumps with 2 backup sump pumps in case the power went out.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll elaborate on that later on in the build. We got drywall delivered that day, and that's when we got that big ice storm up north. And it hit kind of like the outskirts of the Waterloo region where the power went out.
Yeah.
Well, our temporary sump pumps went out because the power went out. So we went there the next day. We just had, $10,000 worth of drywall delivered in the basement, all floating around, all gone. Insurance was what our water deductible during construction was $25,000. So we have to pay the first $25,000. So unfortunately, that $10,000 was just completely out of our pocket.
That's tough. Fucking terrible.
Yeah. Do you feel
yeah. Don't remind me.
Yeah. Oh. For us starting and wanting to become developers, we kind of just have to jump into it.
That and finding a mentor that is. No one's going to be exactly where you want to be, but if you can find people that fit the pockets of where you're trying to get to knowledge-wise, that's my biggest. If I could give you one recommendation starting, it would be that. Fortunately for me, Kyle, my dad's been in construction for about 45 years. So we're able to lean off him on the construction side. But in terms of the new development red tape stuff, we didn't know anybody that was kind of doing what we wanted to do. We're kind of the guinea pigs with the whole severance into single family, semi-detached, 2 ADUs. Nobody's really done that before. And now since then, you see it happen a lot right now. But Dom and I kind of just like, okay, well, you got to take a risk if you're trying to make something yourself and start a new asset class per se. So with that just came a lot of trial and error and a lot of fighting with the city. We were told from the city that we could not do what we proposed, and we pretty much had to tell them, no, we are, because of Bill 23. It fits within the R2 zoning. We're allowed to do 30-foot wide lots. We had a 60-foot lot, so we severed into 2. We can do semi-detached as of right in the zoning, and with Bill 23 just announced, like 2 months prior to this, we can do 2 ADUs on each lot. And they were kind of dumbfounded where there's a lot of arguing back and forth, but ultimately, like Dom and I spent probably a good year and a half prior to that just learning everything around this opportunity.
Right.
So, I mean, like it was, there were times where like, okay, well, we bought this lot and now the city's telling us we can't build what we want to build. So the whole evaluation, like we're just like, if this doesn't go through, we're out of the hole, probably over $100,000.
So I'd assume the city's the biggest bottleneck, which seems to be the tune, right?
Yeah.
That's Canada for you, man.
Yeah. It's just how it is.
Just the red tape and the hurdles that you have to go through. They don't make it easy to build per se. And that's why, real estate prices are where they are, because we just don't, the cities just aren't really pro-development as much as they want to say they are. Between that and HST and development charges, and we can get into that later as well. There's so much to it that, from the outside looking in, people think developers make all this money, but municipalities take 33% of the development charges.
Yeah, so Colin and I think I told you about our little story with like the estate property that we were going to do all those townhomes. Like, I got a taste of that. Like, some of the costs are freaking ridiculous. Like, it's like, how do you want me to create an affordable home, and then you charge me, what is it, like $28,000 per door, just cause they want to charge you that, and then every little minor thing coming around that, like tree removal, shit like that, right? Like,
well, just DCs in general. It depends on what you're proposing, the style of project. There's so many variables to it. DCs are just not set at like $24,000 or $20,000. It varies, right? But we had a project we were looking into last month. It's 3 months away from being site plan approved, right? Which holds a lot of value because going through the SPA process is can take multiple 6 figures and years, depending on the project. And we were looking at this being like, okay, well, if we could offer X below what it's listed for, we could make this 24-unit stacked townhouse work in Cambridge. Well, we found out that the development charges were going to be $1.5 million plus parkland fees. So that's on top of it. And we're like, that kills the deal. Yeah. So it's not even necessarily the current market that's killing the deal. It's literally the development charges that are set from that specific city.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. Like, and I'm sure you've ran into hurdles where that price goes up, just like, I don't know, even like your, was it like urban design and stuff like that, where they're like, no, you can't have that roof, or like, no, you need a park here. Like, we got hit with they're like, you need to put a park here. We're in Dune South. I'm like, walk anywhere. There's 20 parks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and that's just it. Some of the conditions they'll throw in on your zoning occupancy certificate or whatever process, depending on the municipality you're working with. It's just like, okay, guys, like, you know, you understand that if you're developing, you have to give back to the city, and you have to pay for the city to be able to support the units that you're putting in or the development you're proposing.
Yeah.
But in our minds, I think it's gotten a little out of hand. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of developers put their projects on hold until the market rebounds. So right now we have a supply, you know, we have a lot of supply. But I do think in the future, unless they make changes now, that supply will be quickly eaten up when the market does rebound. And then we're going to be back in the same situation we were a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. And you see Mattamy and Activa. That's just because they have the capital.
Yeah, they have the capital for it.
Right? Like,
yeah,
they have the capital, and they've been sitting on land for 40, 50 plus years.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Like when your acquisition per door is 20 grand, 10 grand, 5 grand, it's like, it's pretty easy. You can afford it to develop it.
Yeah, you can take the hit.
So like, what would you recommend? Like, let's say Kobe, Colin, and I run into some coin, right? And I know me and you spoke before. We don't have to say it on the podcast, like what it actually costs to like have your first development. Mm-hmm. But like, let's say we run into that. Like, what's the first step? Like, what would you recommend? What would you do now, knowing all the lessons you've learned?
Yeah, and an add-on to that, would you do a development or like an infill project?
What do you mean by infill versus development?
Basically taking a building that's there and like adding on to it already, adding more doors maybe, or re-renovating it, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think there's opportunity in both ways. If you want to do an infill new build project, and that's typically what we do, is we look for, you know, homes that are very old that need to be torn down, and it's on a big enough lot in the right zoning in the right area where we can put a nice purpose-built rental on it. And that's kind of our niche right now, is PBRs. But having said that, my business partner Dom, he just took a single family house and added 3 units onto the back of it, and he did very well off of it. So I think it just depends on the opportunities and knowing, you know, where you find a deal and if you can make it happen. Because I will add on to that saying, you can turn over an addition project a lot quicker than you can if you're doing a new build, right? So you got to look at how much money you're giving into a project and what your ROI is on it. And you got to factor in your timeline as well.
Right. And it's probably going to cost more as well.
Yeah, exactly. And you need to meet, you know, certain personal net worth requirements, and, you know, lenders have their guidelines, and then it just depends on if you're going commercial. If you're going to go into CMHC, you need more than 5 units right now. So there's a lot of variables at it, but we're open to both. Like right now we're looking at a triplex that we could potentially buy under market value and adding another unit on, just Dom and I, and doing that along with all the other new builds we have in the pipeline right now. Like I wouldn't steer away from any potential opportunity that can make you money.
That's what I was going to say. Like you've already established yourself in the development field. It's like, it almost sounds, by the way you're talking, developments are a huge like patience and like take your time, and actually like it's a slow burning thing. Like if you're in it for the quick flip, like go be an agent or something, like it doesn't sound like developments or anything you can rush any part of it.
No, I mean, the way Dom and I look at it is we want to hold these assets forever, right? Or at least till we get to a point where we see maybe a bigger opportunity and we need to cash out to then fund a bigger project. But we kind of look at it where you have 2 exit strategies. One, just refinance, hold long term, and then your backup, okay, if I need to sell this, can I get out of it and break even, worst case scenario, right? Or at least make a little bit to pay for your time. And if it meets those 2 criterias, you know, it's probably a decent opportunity right now.
That's a good, I was going to ask, like, because you keep saying purpose-built rentals.
Yeah.
So you don't think that the market's worth build, sell? Like that's just a long-term blow up waiting to happen.
Yeah, I think new builds just got out of control, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, they're offering your HST.
The rebate.
The rebates now, right, up to 1.5 million, and then it's staggered down from there. It definitely helps. I think it's going to put a little bit of downward pressure on the resale market, just because if you look at it now, new builds just became cheaper, 13% cheaper if it's under 1.5. But having said that, there's just so much. There's so much for sale still right now on the new builds. And even if they did sell, we're seeing a lot of those people that bought and are now coming up for renewal this year or 2027, and they're distressed sellers and they have to sell to get out of their mortgage because they can't afford to renew, because you're going from 1.5, 2% to now 4.5%.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, because like my brain when I went into developments was like, okay, build these townhomes, sell them. What's our profit? Like how much we make on the sale? Move it into the next development.
Right.
But the long-term goal is like when I'm 50, I'd probably appreciate the fact that I held on to some properties, right?
Everybody I've talked to, I ask, what's one thing you regret not doing? And almost all of their answers are not buying more real estate. Because when you look at real estate over a 20-year period, it's never gone down. It's always a good investment. And if you play your cards right, there's a lot of tax advantages to it. Mm-hmm. Following the tax, like the legal system, right? Like you're not breaking any laws. Like you're just following what CRA guidelines are. However, when you're selling, you got to factor in tax on that, right? And then you have your capital gains tax.
It's a lot.
So right now PBRs are working, and that's why we're focused on that. Is that always going to be our play? No. We're always you just got to be aware of where future opportunities are going to be, and you just got to try to beat the rest, your competition.
Yeah. Now that being said, for somebody coming in new, how do you and Dom stay so on top of it and holding all these assets? Obviously, there's a cost and a lot of risk holding all that to where it can kind of be like a domino effect. Yeah. What's someone starting out that you can really tell them to focus on, and the best things you do to keep on track?
Get very, very, very skilled and knowledgeable at a specific niche where you're so confident, where you can approach people to raise capital. And as long as you have capital coming in, knowing that eventually that development's going to pay out, regardless if you're strapped for cash, as long as you can raise capital and it still makes sense, obviously don't over leverage yourself, but if you can still raise capital and make it make sense, you'll never burn out, right? If you look at all these tech startups, right? A lot of them lose money every year. Most startups or tech companies, they don't actually show profit because the beginning, like as soon as they show profit, everybody looks at, okay, well, how much? But if you're always in that pre-development stage where you're just raising capital, as long as you have people that see the vision and the value in you and your company, they'll invest. And as long as you have cash flow, you live another day, right? I think there's no exit or end game in business and entrepreneurship. It's just lasting another day, like just getting to the next day. I mean, at least that's how I look at it.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good
You've been doing it for 5 years?
Yeah, so. No shit. Yeah,
sometimes it's the way you're forced to be treated. You have to treat it like that.
Well, and you get paid last too. I mean, we haven't paid ourselves a cent off all the money or any of the money we've made, both on the general construction side and just the assets that we've owned. Even the flips that I've done, you just got to live well below your means and invest the rest. And eventually it'll pay off, right? I mean, don't get greedy, because a lot of people, the more money they make, the more they spend. It's like you're not getting ahead. Like there's no, like you're not getting
you're
ahead.
staying exactly where you are.
Yeah, like live below your means. Like if your burn rate's $50,000 a year, and you make $50,000 a year, you're not saving anything.
No.
But what you see is people jump and make $100,000, and then they spend $100,000. It's like, okay, well, no, you made $100,000. Stay at spending $50,000 and invest the other ones. And I think that's how Dom and I were able to get ahead.
I would love to get you and Schneids talking real estate versus like index fund. Because obviously, like you're saying, like real estate, everyone you meet, and I completely agree. Like real estate always goes up, and everyone always wants more real estate. Big investors are like, I wish I bought more.
Over time. Not always goes up, but over time.
Schneid sat in your exact chair and said he would argue bone or tooth and nail that investing in the stock market's way better. So I love your opinion on that. I don't think that there's necessarily a right or wrong. Wherever you get your return, you get your
There's
return,
opportunity
right?
everywhere.
Yeah.
It's true.
There's opportunity everywhere. I will say $1 you put in the stock market is the dollar that you have that makes money off of it, right? In real estate, you can buy something as little as 5% down and own an asset where your ROI is based off the evaluation, not just the money you put in. Mm-hmm. So like scaling wise, and then, I mean, the tax is a whole nother conversation where
of course,
I think that's where, at least to me, that's why real estate's my investment tool. But I would sit here and debate, but I would never argue against somebody because however you decide to make money and whatever your niche is or whatever you're good at, I mean, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of friends that have done very well in crypto or just the stock market. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to get into real estate because obviously what you're doing is working. Right?
Yeah.
And vice versa for me.
Exactly.
No, that's a good opinion.
Yeah.
I like that. I like to see the butting heads because
No, I mean, we could set it up.
We
should.
We should.
Because
Honestly,
he's got the leverage right now because real estate's down. But I mean, I'd argue it because I know a lot of people that are doing very well in Canadian real estate when everybody says it's dead.
Definitely.
That's true.
buy when everybody sells and sells when everybody buys.
Well, that's
right?
what I was
Warren
like
Buffett
with
says.
real estate. There's always opportunities. Like no matter what market you're in, there's always somebody like as bad as it is to say down on their luck, or just there's a rich guy who's willing to give out a deal because he's just sick of it. It's not everyone follows the market.
I've always you see all the realtors, they post the videos like now's the time to sell. I personally think like the opportunity in real estate is where you have leverage. And correct me if I'm wrong, but like if you're in a position to sell, then maybe it's a good time to sell. If you're in a position to buy, then maybe it's a good time to buy, right? Like
I agree with that. I think in investing in general, regardless if it's real estate or whatever you're investing in, I mean, wherever opportunity is, capitalize, right? Like wherever, like everything comes down to an ROI. Like Dom and I run pro formas all day, every day, right?
Yeah.
Like and as long as it makes sense financially, let's do it.
Yeah,
Makes
which
sense.
is the entrepreneur brain.
It's just the entrepreneur.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how many performers like you run before you find a good project, but I mean there's probably not a number. Like maybe you get lucky on one, or run 20, you find one.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably 20, 30, and maybe find one. But that's across us and clients because we help, your mom and pop investor transition into new builds. And that's kind of what we've been focusing on because our company is kind of like a all-in-one stop shop service where you can come to us with money. We can help find a lot with the acquisitions. We're realtors. We have a lot of connections off market through wholesalers and just knowing people around town here and tertiary markets outside of the Waterloo region as well. And then Dom and I obviously know a lot on the planning and red tape side. So we have consultant services on that. And then obviously we have a construction company. So we're GCs as well. So we're able to kind of offer clients that all in one stop
Which
shop.
is kind of what we're building, guys.
Yeah, we're trying to.
I mean, like realistically, it's the same idea where we have lanes and you can like look at it from like bird's eye view and be like, they do this, but like it's all for one big picture, right?
Right.
Like, which is, I think, the best way to do it if you can. I mean, it takes a lot of hours, but
it's a lot of hours. And Dom and I are starting to realize it's like, okay, we only have so many hours in a day. And as is, we're working 12 to 16 hours a day, like actually working. And 12 days, we call them half days, right?
Yeah.
Working 12 days is just a half day, right? Your typical 8-hour day as an entrepreneur is not going to get you far.
No.
Right? And that's just the reality of it. But now we're looking at it's like, okay, well, I just showed you those 3 different options or 3 different areas we can help service clients. It's like, okay, well, where do we need to start delegating tasks and hiring people to take care of this, right? Because we're not going to be able to grow our company. Because at the end of the day, we cannot be focused in the business. We got to be focused on the business. And if we're too busy in the business, well, who's going to grow the company? Who's going to look for those future deals for us, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So that's kind of the biggest roadblock we're facing right now.
You're scratching my ear because, dude, I promise you, an hour ago we were having the exact
same
same
I was just
conversation.
going to say that too.
We were like, how can we get Colin out of construction? Because right now he's our foreman, right? So when we run jobs,
you're on tools.
He's on the tools, right? And he's good at it. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think we could replace him to his skill level, but like we have to.
But with the benefit, it's not worth it. Like, look, right now we have a job going up in Dundalk, and that is getting done. It's perfect. I'm in contact with all the GCs and everyone on site. I get so much more productivity being out here, not touching a skid steer and having somebody else do it because now we've already been able to line up stuff.
Right.
And that I kind of had a question for you. It's more of like a personal one. Like us on business, like we lean on each other every day. Like we're always helping each other in every lane. Like how important was having Dom and like how is that reflected on your business not getting burnt out?
I'm gonna gas Dom up here, I guess. But I mean, it's everything, man.
Kind of setting you up here for it.
Yeah, of course. And I don't know where he is right now, but he's probably grinning if you can hear it. But like, it really is everything. I don't think you can really do everything on your own right now, especially just from a financial side of things. I mean, it's next to impossible, but time as well. And it's like, I think you can go a lot farther if you align yourself with 1 or 2 or 3 people that all have that same vision. You're going to get a lot farther, a lot quicker than trying to do everything and own everything yourself, right? I mean, I'd rather own 25 or in this case 50% of a $100 million company than 100% of a $10 million company, right?
And you don't see that growth.
No, that's perfectly said. We talk, dude. It's awesome. We talk about this every single freaking day.
Yeah, we preach it.
It's the mind you have to have. Like having a team. I said it to Kobe today. I was like, the reason people can't do what we're doing is because we have 72 hours in a day and they have 24. Like we have 3 guys. We have 3 guys going, right?
Absolutely.
And like you can't compete with that. We have 48 hours on someone, and same with you and Dom, right? Like you have that time where like you're caught up on a site, he can be elsewhere doing something else, right? Like,
well, and that's it. I think a perfect example of this is real estate brokerages and teams now, right? Like, Jason O'Keefe, for example, or I'm on a real estate team that's separate from the development side, but I wouldn't be an independent agent right now because I need a team support to help with the real estate transactions, and that's kind of what funds my life, and then the development is just reinvested. But I think real estate's a perfect example of that because you're seeing a lot more teams pop up, and it's very hard for these independent agents to compete with somebody who has a team of 20 agents behind them, and they have a marketing division, they have admin. You just can't compete with them anymore.
You have all the resources, so
then that's it, right? And you want to get into AI. I think that's a whole other
that's my bread and butter.
We can get down there. I know you know more than me about it, but we've started to implement that as well, and it's like it's almost like a personal assistant where you're buying back your time.
100%. Like this podcast, it's gonna get edited by AI.
Yeah.
Because I just simply don't have the time. Like it'll save me probably 8 hours of editing.
Yeah.
Like this is 4 audio files, 3 different camera angles. Like I wouldn't even be able to edit it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean that website you made, like you did that in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
the one I was showing you there.
I'll show you after the podcast. But I built apps for each one of our businesses.
Okay.
That like streamlines everything. So like right now, if someone were to email me, obviously my lane of business isn't popping right now, so no one's gonna email me today. But if they did, they would get an answer from me while we're talking right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we implemented Claude about a month and a half ago, but really we're just messing around with chat and co-work. I haven't really dived into what do you call it?
Claude Code is what I use.
It's a deep dive. It's a really
deep
honestly,
dive. Like I said to
him, CRMs, man, and like
it's unreal for CRM.
He can build a CRM in 30 seconds now.
Yeah. Well, so I literally told Colin. So we were like struggling, man. Like, we're gonna do an internal pod, but like at one point we were sleeping in the office because we like couldn't afford to drive back to my house.
I wasn't here for this. I was in school.
We were like, screw it. We were like, we're sleeping here until we like have the money to get out, right? So we just grinded, and I was like, Colin, when we get the money, I was like, you're gonna call me an idiot, but I was like, I'm buying this Claude subscription, like the max one, and I'm locking myself in my bedroom for 72 hours, and I will come out with fucking magic. And I did it, and then next thing you know, like it streamlines everything for us. Like it's the best decision I ever made.
100%. I can say the same, but I probably don't even know half of what you know on Claude.
He's a wizard.
Yeah. I honestly like my cheat code for Claude is I went into Notebook LM. I scraped like 50 YouTube videos on Claude, took the sources, put them in Notebook LM, and asked it to like write me a book on Claude, and then I read that book. And it was like the best thing I ever did because now like I understand all the back end.
It's your cheat sheet essentially.
Exactly.
To kind of expedite the process of implementing Claude into your business.
Exactly.
And that's our biggest challenge right now on that side. But again, it's like where do you delegate your time? Because obviously AI is taking over, so you don't want to fall behind. But then you also have to still work in your business where you're still pushing things ahead.
Well, I had 72 hours to throw away at studying Claude, but like now, if I didn't do that, like I don't have the time to do that. Like we would lose money doing that, right? So it's probably the same thing for you. It's just it is difficult to catch up. And fucking, I get an email every day. Anthropic release a new thing. How am I supposed to keep up with it?
You can't,
it's
right?
Nuts.
No. Yeah. No, I know.
But that is cool. Like, okay, I want to rewind though, because I'm curious to know. So let's say like high school, college, like what brought you into this world? And then was it because you were an agent first?
Yes.
And Helgsy's told me stories. You were a dog of an agent, like a younger agent who just like was. Just
you were in school too, right?
You were knocking doors. You were being a dog. So I want to know that story. Like what brought us here?
I'll back up to high school, I guess. Like I kind of just followed the path of my friends and went into BCom at Guelph.
Okay.
Right. And I was in there for 3 semesters and saw the bar more than I saw the the library or any class.
Fair.
And I quickly learned that school wasn't for me. And I had a very, very rough path after I decided to drop out. It was a Christmas of, when would that have been? 2020, actually. And I thank God, because then everything went online. And I'm like, there's no way I was passing any class after COVID came and everything was online and nothing was in person. But I dropped out there. I went back and worked for my dad's construction company for about a year and started to get my real estate license because I'm like, I love real estate, but I don't want to be on the tools. And I want to kind of know what's happening in the market so I can make smart investments off of that. And I'm like, well, who has a better understanding of the market other than a real estate agent? Somebody who's buying and selling actively. You know, they see the stats every day. They talk to people. They kind of know where consumer sentiment is at. So that's what made me get my real estate license. So fast forward, I got my license back. I officially was licensed October 21st of 2021. Yeah, okay. 2021. I joined a real estate team 2 months prior to that, and I was just an inside sales associate. So my job was literally to go through our CRM and cold call people, a database of over 10,000 people. And my job, 8 hours a day. I worked 10, 11, 12 hours, and I literally just picked up the phone, got comfortable, and tried to land listing appointments or buyer consultant appointments for the agents on the team.
Grueling shit.
Me. Well, it was horrible, man. It was terrible, and I made minimum wage at the time, and I'd get like a little commission cut if it led to any businesses that the agents would transact. But again, like you're looking at like a 6 to 12 month turnaround time.
Yeah.
So I didn't make shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if I can swear on
here.
You're
good.
I didn't make anything, but it got me very comfortable on the phone, and I learned a lot about sales in that timeline. So when I actually became a licensed agent, within my first week I had a listing. And at the time, listings were selling in 5 days. So I quickly made close to 10 grand in a month because the closing was 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I kind of fell in love. And then I found my second listing, then my third. And then within the first 6 months, I did 6 deals. So I was like, damn, I just made as much as I would working for a construction company in the last 6 months. Right. So I'm like, I'm onto something here.
My back's not as sore.
Yeah, doing something you love too. Yeah,
exactly.
Good.
I was working a lot more, but different kind of sore, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Different kind of mental drainage, I would say. But and I've been licensed. It'll be 5 years in October, and I think 2 years into being a real estate agent, I started to get into flipping homes, and we did very well on our first couple flips. Made quite a bit of money, but didn't spend a cent. And eventually I was able to save up over 6 figures, and that's what led to my portion on investing into our first purpose-built rental, which was a sixplex in Stratford.
That's awesome.
Which was
cool.
3 years ago now.
Good for you, man.
It's really cool.
So,
yeah, good for you.
If you don't mind it, how much capital did you actually have to raise to start your development?
Yeah, we'll say raise, not like how much did you have to bring?
Yeah. Well, because we did have to raise money in it. How much did we raise? We put in, Dom and I put over 6 figures in of our own money. And then I think we had to raise $640,000.
Okay. And that's,
it was almost we didn't need that much, but we wanted to raise that much because you need to have cash in case things went wrong. And a lot went wrong. So I'm glad we had the cash, right? But then a construction loan kicks in. And we had to bring my father on as a third partner for that as well. Just to help with the net worth requirement, because we wouldn't have made it, or we didn't have the experience as well.
Which we've had to have that conversation with Jay as well.
Exactly. And you need it. And that's their value right there. If that's as much as they want to contribute and you have to do everything else, you should be very, very grateful that they're even willing to take a risk.
It also holds you accountable too, right? Like you
can't let Jay down.
No,
right?
No, 100%.
But I mean, if we're willing to put all of our net worth into something, that means a lot to them. If we're willing to go broke,
I've spoke to investors that say that too.
If you're willing to put all your money into this one project, it just shows you really care.
And you know what? We knew the answers for every question that we were asked from investors, and if we didn't, it wasn't just trying to beat around the bush and get our way out of it or giving them a half-ass answer. It was like, I don't know the answer to that, but let me get back to you in a day. And people respect that, because if you don't know the answer, but you're willing to, let your ego down and tell them, I don't, but let me look into it and I'll get back to you. Right. And it was a lot of conversations, a lot of no's, but eventually they lead to yeses, as
100%.
as often as
every no is one step closer to a yes.
That's it.
We had to raise capital. I don't think I did it well. It was my first time raising capital.
We were on Zoom meetings with some weird people.
People you didn't know?
Yeah. It was LinkedIn, cold firing, LinkedIn outreach.
Oh, really?
Hey, jump. I have an investment property. Jump on a call. And this guy's like, less than 50 units? Don't even talk to me. I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Who do you think I am?
Dude, I was asking for 6 figures in capital. I'm not talking about multi-million-dollar deals.
No,
multiple 8-figure deals.
But with that though, like I don't want you to give out too much cheese here. I don't want you to tell everyone how to do it. But when it comes to raising capital, like what was your first approach and what did you find a little bit of success with?
Good question.
Again, don't expose it because like even for us, like,
I'm an open book, man. Like like honestly, between AI and the internet now, everybody can find the answer to anything, right? It's just like it's the actual like. Are you willing to do that? And it's the follow-up on that. Are you actually going to take action, or are you just going to be a sayer? Sayer versus doer.
Yeah.
So I'm an open book. So, I mean, sorry, ask the question again. I forgot it.
Like when it comes to raising capital, because you would have been new to it, right?
Yeah.
Like just like us. Like what's that approach like? Like who are you contacting? Who fits your portfolio? And how's that kind of work? Okay.
Yeah. Start with people you know, or, people that may know people. And for us, we're very fortunate that my dad has a very good sphere of influence. So it was easier for us to find people with money, but it was not any easier to actually get them to agree, because we still had to go through multiple meetings with the same person, and we had to know our shit, right? And the deal had to be good enough for them to take a risk, because they're like, okay, well, yeah, maybe I know Brian, but I don't really know you and Dom, or I knew you when you were a kid. Why the hell am I going to write you a multiple six-figure check?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So again, I think it goes back to just knowing and being confident on what you're trying to raise capital for. And I don't really know what else to add on to that. I think just confidence.
So you found your most success being upfront and honest, just believing 100%. In what you were doing and just being fully transparent.
Yeah. And you know what? If somebody says no, don't take offense to it.
Yeah.
If anything, if they said no or followed up, I'd call them and be like, hey, like, can you please just give me some advice on what I did right, what you liked, and what I did wrong? Like,
you do a really good job of that.
I need that, right? Like, I need you to tell me why are you not comfortable investing into us? And most people probably won't tell you, but the people that do, you can take a lot away from that.
Yeah, that's smart.
Right.
That is very smart. Yeah. I like to always throw that in. Like we had a meeting with a guy, same situation. Like I was trying to raise money, and he like hard noted it like immediately. And I was like that's completely fair. I'm not gonna try and be a pushy salesman to try and get into your bank account, but like I'd just love to know like what could I have done to like turn that into a yes.
Yeah.
And then he told me, and he kind of like brushed it off. He was like, "Well, this deal's gotta be free for me to get in." Like I was like, "Oh, well, that's stupid," but it was good to know like where he came from it, right? And like. Some people with money just like they like safety, right? And you run into that.
Well, and that's it. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? And I think the quicker you can get away, that's a good no, though, right? It's not like, oh, well, you were stuttering. You actually had no idea what the hell you were talking about. It's like, okay, well, shit. Clearly, I need a lot to work on.
Yeah.
But if it's just simple, like simply people just aren't confident or are ready themselves to make an investment, well, you probably just weren't talking to the right person.
Yeah.
But at least you got that conversation out of the way. And I think the more conversations you have with people, the better you get at delivering your presentation, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think you're never taking a loss. I mean, Dom and I have wasted, and I'll quote that because it's not a wasted amount of time, but we've wasted hundreds, if not thousands of hours already, just with potential clients and just trying to raise capital. And we have learned so much more just from talking ourselves than what we would have, or what we thought we would have by, reading into something or listening to Alex Hormozy, as good as he is.
I love Alex.
But I mean, you're going to learn a lot more by
doing it,
taking a risk, diving in, and figuring it out along the way.
Well, it's cool that you say that, because Kobe and I, as business partners, have like a whole different approach. Like I've been an entrepreneur for 6 years. I've been in the shit, dude. I did clothing company. Like I'm just like, where do I want to be, and like what makes sense to me? Obviously, I fell into sales. Sales make the most sense. Where he went to school, he took a very strategic approach at development. So he went to school for developments, right?
Yeah.
So like it's cool to kind of see how our brains work. Where he's like, oh, like let's make sure like every little bit of information's answered. I'm like, let's just fucking call the guy and see what he wants to know.
Yeah,
right?
that's
like,
true.
Like it's a cool approach to kind of see.
But there's no good and wrong. Like there's no good or bad or right or wrong either, right? I think like that's valuable. I think you have a better, stronger partnership between the two of you because of that. If you were both the same way, it's like, well, maybe you're both too risk adverse and you're not thinking about something that could go wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
One of you has to be kind of the more like, risk tolerance. Like you have to have more risk tolerance and be more of, let's take this risk. And I would say that's Dom. And maybe I'm a little bit more calculated risks.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't have taken some of the risks without Dom pushing that, and vice versa. We probably would have lost money if I didn't jump in and say, hey, let's just back up here? Is it too good to be true?
Yeah,
yeah.
True.
Yeah.
There's
That's so comforting to hear, because I feel like that literally fits our structure. I'm like, can't have long term without short term. He's like, can't focus on short term, gotta go long term. And then we both love to take the risk. And Colby's like, guys, we're gonna go.
Yeah,
I just
we're gonna go to the bank account.
Yeah. Well, I'm very set. I try and think things.
Which I think it's perfect. Like,
pushes me more.
I know a lot of people butt heads, and I kind of had a question about that earlier, but I kind of misplaced it. But when times get tough, like me and Kyle, we've been through the toughest times like you could have in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
But in those tough times, we kind of just like respected each other, and it's flown, and we haven't had too many disagreements. Obviously, there's some button heads, but like, how do you and Dom really work through that conflict for when big things come up and you strongly disagree? How do you keep it respectful?
You ask them why they think you should do this, and then vice versa. You have to be open-minded. I think most people, why partnerships don't work out is because they're closed-minded and their way or the highway. And it's like if you're not going to be open to listening to why they think you should do X and Y and Z, well, you're not a good partner. And maybe you should just be in business yourself if you need to control everything. But I don't think you're going to go far.
No. Yeah,
right.
100%.
That's true.
We've been around many guys like that we bring ideas and opportunities to, and it's just immediate. No, my thing's going on. What I'm doing is working. And you see them; they're going to plateau. Yeah, you can become successful, but you're going to stay at the same spot if you're doing all this yourself. You don't have any outlet. Like Kyle and Colby now are tackling 3 lanes full speed with the most amount of help. It's ridiculous. I don't see how anybody by themselves could keep up with this mentally unless they're insane.
Yeah. I think like
that was very well said.
The best people I've ever, I wouldn't even say been in business with, because like obviously just like buddies too, like Helgsy's a buddy of mine, obviously, like guys like that.
Yeah.
I love the people that know this won't work, but they're like, how do we make this work? Like those are the best people, and those are the people like Jay's an example of that.
Yeah.
We brought him a ridiculous idea, like a ridiculous, we're gonna build 32 townhomes in the middle of Dune, and he's like, okay, like I have people that will invest, like how do we make this work? I was like,
immediately started crunching numbers. Immediately.
And that's why he's successful. If there's a will, there's a way, but you'll never see somebody laugh at you or turn an idea down just like that without understanding why you believe that it could be something that could make some money, or it could be a great business idea, right? I think people who make fun or laugh at you, and I had a lot of friends that did that, but I mean, I don't know how to say this in not a cocky way, but they're now coming back to me like, oh my God, Keaton, you're doing 100%. So well, you're doing this. And it's like, because I believed in myself, man. And I took advice from people that are where I want to be, not you idiots.
Yeah.
And I mean that with all due respect, because some of them are great friends, but it's like, and even family too, right? Family wants you to be safe. They want you to be comfort. They want you to have, stability. But is that going to get you to where you want to be?
Yeah,
like,
that's very true.
Not.
That's like my biggest issue with my family kind of right now. I'm doing not the, I guess, generic path. And I mean, they're supportive, but at the same time, they're like, oh, like, what are you doing all day? And then, I mean, today we just landed our first moving client, which was great. And they were very happy for me. So hopefully it kind of grow in the future here. So
honestly, something for you, like me and Kyle kind of free ball it, and we're not really coordinated, but for you, when you were taking an approach on the developments and you had all these mentors and you knew you needed them, what kind of kept you going to where you wanted to be and not where your mentors thought you should go? Because obviously they're going to recommend stuff and influence you to do things the way they see it, but you're obviously unique. It's your idea, it's your company, you want it to be yours, and you see the overall bigger picture that maybe they're missing. How do you stay on that track?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the straight up answer is finding a partner. For me, it was finding Dom, somebody who aligned with where I saw myself in 5-10 years. And what I wanted to build aligned with what he wanted to build. So regardless of what other people said, him and I had the same vision. We're like, okay, like, we're not just going to say, okay, we're not going to take your advice because you're wrong. This is not where we want to be. It's like, okay, well, thank you for that. We're going to take that. We're going to learn from it. But this is still the avenue that we want to explore. So again, I think being open-minded, but still having that tunnel vision where, you need to focus on where you want to be. And I'm a strong believer in anything can work in today's market. Like, it doesn't matter the real estate avenue or any investment avenue that you choose to go down to. As long as you stick with it and continue to learn and grow from it, you're going to make it eventually. It's just a matter of time.
I like that.
That's good advice.
You ever think of doing like fucking public speaking.
Yeah.
You're kind of firing me up right now. Like, I'm ready to pick up
a brick wall right now.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, eventually, yeah, I think I would. I think I would. And I will add this, actually, because I think you learn more from just from speaking than you do from most other things, right?
Yeah,
like mentors, you learn a lot. Like there's some tools, but I think the more you talk about something, the better you are at articulating it, is the better you understand that specific concept.
100%.
Right?
And the more you'll grow to love it, right?
Well, and that's it. And I mean, I will say this too, actually. This is a good point. Back to how we raise capital. Finding people that wanted to see a younger version of themselves. That is probably huge.
That's, you
a lot of the people that invest in our company right now don't need to invest in our company.
Yeah.
Like 6 figures to them is nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Like if they don't see a 7-figure return, it's like it's not going to change anything in their daily lives. But they were smiling because they saw themselves, a younger version of themselves in us. And to them, it's more rewarding to help somebody grow than the actual physical monetary return on that.
Yeah,
dude,
it's funny. You're literally quoting Kyle.
Right now.
Kyle literally said that.
I said
this
that
guy's lighting us up in the car.
Yeah, but no, it's
That's
true,
awesome,
man.
man.
It's true. Obviously, you got to give them a return. And
No,
no
100%.
free, but I should have answered with that, actually, back to that question, because that's probably number one, honestly, is people just want to help people that remind them of themselves.
It's a spark, right? They remember the hard times. They remember the grind.
Speaking, it's like maybe I go to public speaking, maybe I just find one-on-one mentors, and it's I wouldn't even need to be paid for it. Like if I can just help a younger version of myself. Even 5 years ago, man, I was completely lost 5-6 years ago, right? And it's like looking back on that now, it's like you got to remind yourself like how far you've come. And it's like if I'll always entertain a conversation if I'm at the bar or if I'm with friends or at dinner with my girlfriend, even she doesn't love it, but I'm like if somebody comes up or if somebody recognizes me or asks a question, I'm gonna give them the time of day because I would have wanted that same response 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, you did with me at the bar. We chatted for like 25 minutes. And I was just picking your brain and stuff.
Well, I love it too. Like, I'll talk about it all day long.
Yeah, the girlfriends don't love the phone calls at 11 o'clock at night.
My girlfriend hates my phone.
I pay for Pilates. I get the answer.
That's it. You got to find some happy medium. But I don't think there's, just to elaborate on that, there's no work-life balance. Like that is not a thing.
No,
at least when you're starting out, right?
No, there can't be.
I mean, I don't want that. I don't want that.
No,
I
and
want
like,
to be working.
But do it young, man. Like do it like my age and your guys' age. Like do it young because the older you get, the harder it gets.
Yeah.
Like imagine trying to start this shit when you have a family.
Oh, we've talked about this many times.
Like I can't even look after myself, man.
Yeah,
Thank God I have a girlfriend.
Everything I buy shrinks in the wash, man. I haven't figured that out.
I don't know what to dry, what to hang. It's over my head, man.
My thought towards that was just like the whole view of entrepreneurship. You have to look at it differently. It's like you have to, right now you might be giving up a lot and like you have to be willing to give up a lot to go into that.
Yeah.
But the more work you put in, the less you have to give up and the more freedom you get overall. So right now you're looking at me, why are you sleeping in the office? Why are you working 14-hour days? Like you guys are crazy for thinking this big. Well, when I get that big and I'm sitting on a beach on a computer saying, hey, build this, do this, like, and I have hands off and I can spend time with my family, who's going to be laughing when you're 9 to 5, 2 vacation weeks a year? Okay, you had more money than me when you're 25. Yeah. What about now?
You're buying back your time is what you're doing.
Exactly.
Right? That's what everybody building, something that's an asset. Because right now, I mean, you think of it, like, I think the biggest destruction for young people right now is getting into the mindset to trade time for money. And I'm so happy I got into sales, Kyle, and all of you will understand this. Getting into sales, you're not trading time for money. You're trading energy for money at the start, right? And I think getting out of the time for money and just what you put in is what you get out of it is like the number one thing young people need to understand. Because if you get comfortable just trading, you could pay someone $60 an hour. Like I would rather work for myself and factor it out and make $20 an hour at the end of it, knowing that I have opportunity to make a change in that.
It's uncapped.
Yeah.
There's
it's
no
uncapped.
Yeah,
exactly.
you're capped with an hourly rate. You can't work. Even if you can work 24 hours in a day, you're still capped at 24 hours in a day, right?
Well, that's it.
And that's why I like sales, right? That's why I like all that shit.
Yeah,
it is nice. Yeah,
100%.
I have one more question. What are we at here, Colin?
We're right around 48. We should be 50 so minutes.
Okay, so I got one more question.
You weren't lying. Like that flew by.
It flew.
Yeah.
It flies. Yeah.
I think this is my first podcast, but that
Like
flew
now
by.
you know
here,
when you
yeah,
look at a
it did go
JRE podcast, it's like 3 hours off. You're all with your buddies having fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Exactly. Well, hey, you're smoking a cigar, doing
Yeah, dude, you
get a couple beers going. I'll be here
yeah.
all night.
You go shoot bow and arrows at Cyber.
Yeah, so what's your question? What's the grand finale question?
Yeah, I think this is a super important question because everything. It's not the what's the saying you just said? It's the hands you shake. It's not the.
No, that's your saying, but it's not.
Is it my saying?
It's not the
I
money
fucked
you
it
make;
up.
it's the hands you shake.
Yeah. Okay. With that, network is ridiculously important, especially in real estate.
Yeah.
Now, as someone who's 23, not a lot to my name. Like, I mean, I live in the basement with my girlfriend.
Look like shit, eat like shit.
My brother's his girlfriend, right? Like, in that situation, I don't have a lot to offer a guy like Jay outside of like equity, but he's even a terrible example because I'm here working.
Yeah.
How do you nurture a network and how do you nurture a relationship to then end up being a bigger deal 10 years down the line?
Great question. Your biggest asset is your time right now, right? You have all the time in the world to help Jason, for example, buy back his time, right?
Yeah.
And going back to, he wants to see young people like you who are driven succeed. But your biggest asset is your time. So use your time to your advantage. Work the long hours, right? Like work to buy back your time one day. And then everything's just like, trust is everything, man. Like honestly, like, and real estate agents are going to hate me saying this. I don't like majority of agents because they're not real.
Yeah.
Ironically. They're not real. But it's true. Like people just want the sale. And I'll be the first person to tell my client, I wouldn't do it, right? Am I going to lose out on a sale? Yes, but that'll be a client for life because they trust me. It's the trust factor, man. Like if you can give somebody your time, your undivided attention, you're going to build trust with them. And ultimately that's going to give you so much more in return over your lifetime of the business, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So instead of just looking from that short-term perspective, always think long-term, man. Always think long-term. The amount of clients I've ran analysis with them this year because they're like, Keaton, I need to sell, like market's down. I'm like, okay, do you need to sell or are you just thinking that you need to sell right now because the market's down? Can you afford this mortgage? Okay, let's look at renting right now. Oh, does it make sense? Just hold it. Eventually the market will go back up.
Yeah.
They're like, Keaton, like we've talked to other agents and they all told us to sell. I'm like, well, yeah, because they want the sale.
The money,
I don't need the sale. I'd rather have you as a long-term client.
Yeah.
Literally, I've had 2 referrals from that client in the past 2 months.
Which is 2 new
that's
sales.
paid more.
There's 2 sales that they wouldn't have
And you're
got,
growing
right?
your sphere. But again, going back to being authentic, man. Like just be authentic, be trustworthy, and give more than you receive. And I think, everything is going to work out for you. I'm a strong believer in, what you give is what you get.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it. Well, shout yourself out. I don't want to keep you here too long. I know Dom's sitting out there like, what are these guys doing?
He's probably had all the beer.
But shout yourself out. I'm sure they probably already know you before they know us. But
my name's Keaton again. I'm a real estate agent in the Waterloo region. More importantly, I'm a co-founder of Oldpark Developments. We focus on purpose-built rentals. Again, I think I've talked about it several times now, but acquisitions, red tape, all the way from we're a general contractor. We kind of help clients from start to finish. And we're looking to do big things. So if you're in real estate or want to start investing, I'd be happy to talk to anybody.
And where can they reach you?
Reach us at not my cell phone.
No, you're not doing that one.
Instagram, my handle is Keaton Walls. Our company's Oldpark Developments.
We'll attach it down below too as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, well,
guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Shoot, man, I'll definitely be back, I'm sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Appreciate it.
No,
Now I'm ready to sell.